morning, everybody. It is September the 30th, and this morning we are here on the main farm. Today we're sitting over a transition route along this river bottom here, close to this bedding that's back over here behind me, hoping these deer come out of the standing corn and just kind of work their way up through here. We're pretty conservative here. The thermal should work out very well. The wind's good this morning, and we got a scrape down here below us that some of these bucks that came through here in the summertime and checked out. So hopefully with this rain, they come through, check it out again, maybe reopen it back up. So the cams have kind of been dead all week with the rain. Last year about this time, within the next week or two is when a lot of my bucks actually started showing up that I never had during the early season. So fingers crossed that's the case. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this morning's sit. Overall pretty slow morning, but we did see that 8-point over on the other side of the creek here. Pretty good looking 3-year-old. He actually just showed up about a week ago. I got him on camera. As these bucks start showing up and start moving around a little bit more, you're going to see me in this stand a lot. Back here behind me we have this huge creek bank, and then over here to this side of me there is a cut hay field and big timber up on the other side. And then this creek over here, so it really pinches down in this point, and this is the last point where they either have to cross the creek or there's a cutaway right here that leads out into this field up and around this ridge. So the action should be high here once these deer start moving around a little bit more. So but just wanted to get in here this morning, knew it could be a decent spot. Hoping over the next week or two, as we work into October here, some of these bucks will start showing up a little bit more. Some of the shooters I'm expecting to come back anyway, start popping up on these scrapes. So keep you guys posted. I'll probably get out tomorrow yet, and if not, we'll see you on next week's episode. Good afternoon. It is October the 1st. As soon as I got up here, I had a half one because it's a little bit warmer today. It's about 80 degrees, and the wind took it right off the top of my head. So that's laying at the bottom of the tree. So now that we're in here now and getting comfortable, hopefully we can get settled down here and have good action tonight. But this is a farm that I started leasing a few years ago, but I've had history with in the past. And this food plot over my shoulder here is a little hard to access to get mowed. I have a bunch of clover here, and then running up this strip of woods here to my east. I have brassicas about 15 yards up the edge. But last night I had two good bucks come in here. One of them is this 9-point that I actually got on a farm about a mile and a half from here in the middle of August, and that was the last I'd ever seen him. So he popped up last night. That's a really good looking deer. And there was an 8-point that came in middle of the night last night and then ripped the rope right out of my rope scrape. So hopefully that won the appeal to get these deer out here. I don't think so, but it's a little bit warmer tonight. It's 80 degrees. But I have this pond I actually hand dug right over here over my shoulder, about 10 yards from here, that I'm hoping they're going to come hit tonight with the weather being warmer. I can already hear there's a bunch of oaks dropping right around this tree stand, so I'm pretty confident. This evening said just about. We got about 10 more minutes left, but overall super eventful evening. Everything was absolutely textbook, all the deer filtering through. And then we actually did see the buck we came in after in that other 8-point that I was telling you had the rope stuck in his rack. They worked out across that cut cornfield and then circled way around in the timber over here. I'm pretty sure they're out here in the beans. So they didn't work up through the plot, but gonna get ready to get backed up, and we'll definitely be back in here again next time the wind's right, or we get a little intel. So stay tuned. Looking forward to hitting the spot a little bit more this season.
Alright guys, we made it to the blind, and boy is it hot. I think I looked at the temperature before we came in. I think it's around 87, but it feels like it's like 187 in this blind. Pouring sweat. But we've got a few things going for us with this hunt. One, we know that buck was here this morning. And two, even though our food plot is completely dead, luckily 10 years ago, Jeremiah, the owner of this farm, planted chestnut oaks. And we've got a persimmon that is completely loaded with persimmons. This is one of the first days that the conditions have actually been right to come in here and hunt the deer. We've needed an east or a southeast wind. Southeast is as good as you can get, and that's what we've got today. With a southeast wind, that deer should be bedded just to our east, and hopefully within the next hour or two he's going to come down. We may have to crack a window or two in this blind here shortly, but I've got those onyx. We're going to settle in right here. We may cut our little fan on here in a minute and blow some more hot air on us, and we'll show you what we see.
What's he doing? He's coming up towards us. Gary. And Frank.
Okay. Let's film him, bro. There comes another one. That's another bug. Behind him. He's eating in that green grass. Alright, well that's going to be a wrap for day one of chasing the Big 8. And we'll have to leave this story to be continued. Said he just hasn't really been consistent on the camera at all. And I just thought with him showing up this morning that this was our best opportunity to come in and actually have a shot at it. And with the conditions, the wind was right and everything else was right. And we'll be back in here for sure. So y'all hang with us and hopefully we'll get one of these deer killed. I really want the Big 8, but we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.
Well, since we didn't hunt last night, since it was 85 degrees, we'll give you a little rundown of the hit list here in a second and give you guys an update. In Ohio, we have a couple different properties. On the one we own in Ohio, there's a couple decent bucks. We have OG, who's got to be 6.5 years old now. On the other permission property, we have a deer we call Zoolander. He hasn't shown up yet this year. We know he made it through. And then we have 6'4", who's pretty regular. Haven't seen him in a couple weeks, hoping that EHD didn't get him. It's been extremely dry.
Yeah, we own one property in Indiana, and then we have a couple of leases that we have. We have history of the Huff Buck. If you don't know what the Huff Buck is, he's the #1 typical in the U.S. We had 3 years of history with that deer. We actually hunted him a couple of times together. The other lease that we have together, not a lot of cameras out yet, picking up trail cameras, but we did have some friends of ours go out and hunt it for youth season last weekend, and Brad was able to kill a dandy 155 with his bow off of it last year, so it's a property that always produces. And then the last one is the one that we own. We've been hunting it for a few years. We've really been letting them go with the exception of the first year. My daughter shot one. It's more of a travel corridor, not necessarily a place where they live. So we're gonna go back to Ohio. This is that 6.5-year-old 8. He might be touching 140 inches, but anytime you get a chance to shoot an old deer like that, it's hard not to get excited about it.
Stick with us. We look forward to participating in the East team this year with Midwest Whitetail, and we'll see what comes of it. So.
What's up, guys? It is October 2nd, and I am set up here on the home farm on this stand on the Oak Ridge. It's just now about 8 o'clock. We've had no action so far. Acorns are dropping everywhere. But I've got the white hand. I'm overlooking this watering hole, and I've got 2 mock scrapes out. We've had this deer that my girlfriend nicknamed Elvis showing up. Actually a 9-pointer. Not a ton of mass, and I can't tell how old he is. I don't recall what deer it is from last year. Hopefully we're gonna sit for a couple more hours and he'll make an appearance. Things got a little bit exciting there for a second. That is the second and third spike we've seen so far. As I was saying, there was 3 bucks out there in front of me, about 120 yards. My wind has actually switched, so I'm going to get ready and go ahead and pack up and get out of here. Thank you guys for watching Midwest Whitetail, and good luck.
Good afternoon, and welcome back to Midwest Whitetail, the East Show. And we are set up in the hay bale blind at the stone property that we moved out here yesterday. And it has been extremely slow. Unfortunately, I have yet to be able to film a buck yet while hunting, and seen a few doe and a fawn, a group of maybe 2 does, 2 fawns. We sprayed this hayfield about 2 weeks ago and broadcasted a bunch of cereal, rye, wheat, and clover into it, and unfortunately, we have had little to no rain whatsoever since we have done that. While we're out here today, I just thought I would take this time to go through my hit list with you guys. It is nowhere near what we had last year. At this property, we have a deer that we filmed at the end of last year that we got permission on out here. He was an 8-point last year, but he made it through, and he is a 9-point this year. He's a pretty good looking deer, and he's been hitting this vine scrape that we made right over here at the bow only permission property. We have 2 bucks on there that we really want to target. There's a 10-point that's a really good looking deer, and then there's also a really big 6-point with a kicker, and he looked the exact same last year. At Old Faithful, we've been patiently waiting for a deer to show up. We did have a mature buck show up last night, and he has a funky rack and could be a pretty fun deer to chase as well. But we're gonna sit tight tonight, and if we're able to get a buck in front of us that we want to target and want to harvest, hopefully we'll be able to bring it to you. I want to thank you all, as always, for tuning into Midwest Whitetail, the East Show.